Let's predict each other's thoughts.
Oh, yes. I am so sorry.
One of us, we always forget. Whoever does the reintro always forgets this part.
I'm not used to doing reintros. Usually it's tasked on one of you two, but you guys couldn't stop bickering about whose reintro it was.
It's a wild and crazy episode, so it's expected.
Yeah, listen, because we're on hour 3 of doing a podcast at this point.
Hour 3 of Cole not playing Breath of the Wild 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, you can't say that anymore.
Yeah, you can't say that.
You guys said that to me, and I couldn't figure out why. I looked into it. I'm like,
at this point, it's just a meme.
Yeah, at this point, it's just a meme.
I'll explain it off air.
Okay.
Jay, start. What do you think we thought?
Okay. I think Mike didn't like it that much because of all the screaming.
There was a lot of screaming in it.
And Cole definitely enjoyed it, but I don't think he loved it.
Okay. Cole?
I think, to echo our last review, I think this is going to receive universal praise.
Ooh.
I don't think it's going to be quite as strong as our last review, but I think this will be a solid supporting to background character between all three of us.
I suspect I'm going to echo Cole's sentiments here. I think all of us at least found this show entertaining and like worth watching. I think probably if I get into more specifics, I think Jay maybe didn't like a lot of like the partying and like the crass humor in it and like maybe. And I think probably Cole liked the crass humor and stuff like that, but didn't like how there wasn't really like an overarching plot or anything like that, and probably also was not a fan of. It's a tough one to look at. I don't think that's a spoiler, this one. But yeah, that'd be my takes on it. So why don't we get into our actual thoughts on this show? Do you want, you know what I did last time and you told me to do it again when we reviewed Mage's Bride? I pulled up the Annie List reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want me to read a few of them?
Yes, please.
Okay. The first one is, it's about diving. Guys, trust me.
I saw this review and it made me laugh because I read that initially before I watched the show, and I'm like, yeah, obviously it's about diving.
Obviously.
And then I finished watching it and I'm like, oh, I get it. That's a joke.
There's like 2 episodes that they actually do diving stuff.
You had like the Captain America, like, I get that reference.
Yeah. Not to spoil our review, but this show almost has nothing to do with diving. And I think I kind of liked it more for that.
It had enough about diving to make it like interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It made it like unique and different. But like I liked it just as like the silly party show.
It really
that
felt
it is.
like a college diving thing, because like a lot of the time when you're in college, you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. You're drinking and having fun.
Yeah. I can vouch for that. That's why it took me like 6 years to do a 3-year degree. But the next one is, Grand Blue is an example of slapstick comedy done right, even if it does drag here or there. I think that's fair.
I don't think it dragged.
Yeah, I never thought it dragged.
I didn't think it was like particularly compelling. Like I was never like, oh, I have to watch the next episode.
I really found it easy to binge.
Yeah, I think it was very easy to binge. But like, it was more like there's nothing with a plot that like hooks you. But like if you just want like a good time to laugh, then yeah, absolutely, it's good at that.
Probably the only real like plot thing I can think of that kind of is like the hook is probably who's short-haired grumpy tsundere girl?
Chisa.
Chisa
is probably the will they won't they with Chisa and Iori.
Yeah.
Iori. That's probably like really the only. And then I guess maybe like, do they actually learn how to dive in this show at some point?
We'll never know.
Yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of plot progression of them diving and things like that, but we'll get into that in the spoilers because I think there's a bit of spoiler
we'll
stuff.
Talk that. Yeah. Next review is Grand Blue, una mina de oro de la comedia.
It is definitely a comedy.
It is definitely a comedy.
The next one is the perfect mix of comedy and dirty humor.
That's two of the same things.
The perfect mix of comedy and comedy.
Yeah. I love comedy and comedy.
Yeah, me too. Comedy times comedy equals comedy.
This is everyone's favorite section of our review shows where we review
roast other people's reviews.
Yeah.
It's super meta. It's super meta. I'll give you 2 more here.
Okay.
Grand Blue is an absolutely hilarious show with lovable characters and is a must watch if you like slapstick comedy. I would agree with that.
I'd agree with
I
that.
think that
100%.
sums it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not necessarily like a perfect show. You're not watching it to get like deep thoughts about humanity. It's just fun. You know what I mean?
I don't. I feel like saying.
Go ahead.
I feel like saying like, oh, it's not a deep, or it's not a perfect show because it's not deep. You're not going into this show because it's deep.
No.
And like,
it's not.
I don't think that like,
deep,
and I don't think that like, I don't think something needs to be deep to be good.
Yeah, what I'm kind of getting at is I don't think I can give like a 10 out of 10 to something if it doesn't make me like think deeply. Do you know what I mean?
I get where you're coming from.
I mean, you have to grade on a curve, right?
Yeah.
So like, what is the show? It's a comedy, right? So did it make you laugh?
Yeah.
Oh, this made me, spoiler alert, this show probably made me laugh the most out of anything other than Konosuba.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was going to say the only thing that this one doesn't have a leg on is Konosuba.
I laughed more at this.
It's even pretty tight.
I'm going to be honest. I lauged more at this than Konosuba.
Yeah, it's tight. It's a tight race.
I definitely felt like a nostalgic vibe to this.
Do you know what it reminded me of, this show? Do you remember those like in the early 2000s to mid 2000s there was like American Pies and stuff like that, and like the Euro Trip and Road Trip, like the genre of like comedy movies that are just like probably canceled today,
like the spoof movies
and stuff.
Yeah, that's what this reminded me. Yeah, Scary Movie and stuff like that. That's really what this made me feel of. It felt very of that time.
Yeah, for sure. You got one more review there though.
I have one more, and this one I don't quite agree with. Grand Blue Dreaming is a dream anime, a treat to my eyes. And I feel like that was a good way to lead into the visuals of this anime.
Definitely the weak spot of it.
I agree.
I like the character designs. Like,
yeah.
Listen, I don't have any reservations in saying this because all of the characters are over 18 and they're all adults.
I appreciated that.
Yeah, but the characters in this are all really hot.
Yeah.
No, you guys are just leave me hanging there. Okay, cool. It's all right.
The reason I left you hanging is because like I was about to say that I think this might be one of the ugliest shows I've ever watched.
Oh no! I'm speaking strictly from a character design standpoint.
Oh yeah.
The animation in it is borderline
horrible,
atrocious.
Yeah.
I think it's poorly animated, but like the art looks fine.
There's times like I'm just thinking of all of like the reaction faces that they do.
See,
like every 15 seconds.
I like
and it's
that.
good.
I like that.
But I really like the reaction faces in it and everything, but like the faces they're not animated, right? Like,
no, they're not animated.
It'll just cut to that face.
Yeah.
And the faces are like objectively quite ugly when they do these.
Well, I think that's on purpose though. Yeah.
I know, but it's funny.
Listen,
like I mean,
that's on purpose.
When I watch this show, it is like not animated great, and there's a lot of like things that I'm just like, wow, that does not look good at all, or like this is not a treat to my eyes.
It's got really good visual gags though.
Yeah,
and I think it does a good job with what it has. Like I think of this one gag where one of the girls is doing a speech, and every time it cuts back to the guys, they're progressively more and more naked.
Yes.
Like
there's a scene too near the end where one of the characters is like they're running on the beach, and everybody's like, and she's like saying, "This is like my dream vacation. We're running on the beach and having great times. Like, this is exactly how I'd picture." Then it zooms out and it's just her on the beach with like these naked dudes. It's just like hilarious.
Yeah. No, I one thing I want to say, just kind of going off of the naked thing. I never thought that I would say that. The first episode of
nakedness.
The first episode felt like, you have those dreams where you're like naked at school and you just have to kind of like deal with it. Like, okay, I'm here, I'm naked, I've got to just live my normal day. That's what the first episode felt like to me. It was like a fever dream or like a nightmare where you forgot to get dressed and you're just at school, where he where he's naked and it's just like he's just gotta do what he's gotta do while he's naked.
So like, did you think that it was a dream when no?
No, it reminded me of like one of those like stress dreams.
I see what you're saying.
I appreciated the first episode of this show too, because like that's kind of like I think how it would go. Like, let's just say you move to like this, you're kind of like trapped now in this surf shop, right?
Yeah.
And you go there and like you realize, oh no, what have I got myself into? And then he kind of just like makes the best of his situation and just like adopts it. And it's like, honestly, that's probably how it would go a lot of the time, right? Is you kind of just get sucked into the peer pressure and get caught up in the wave and you dive right in, right?
Pun intended.
Pun intended. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, that was definitely a thought that I had, was like, I've had dreams like this where it's just like, okay, I'm just in my gitch. Gitch means underwear for people who don't know.
Yes. I will agree with you though that like the character designs are like objectively like attractive looking.
Thank you.
Especially and that's another thing I liked about this too, is it was like an equal opportunity fan service show.
Yeah, the guys were hot too.
There's arguably more naked men in this. There almost certainly is more naked men in this show.
There is objectively more naked men in this show.
Yeah,
which is, I think, it's not common that you see that.
I think the naked men thing happens like at least like 3 times per episode.
Yeah, whereas you might get like one female fan service per episode, which is like, I don't know. It's funny. It was a funny gag. Like they played it up for gags, and it was just good. I appreciated that.
They did a really good job with that. Yeah.
I also liked how they were like when someone was like saying put your clothes on, they would be like, what do you mean? We never do
this. Uncomfortable.
What are you talking about? We're drinking. We have to get naked.
Yeah, like that's just what happens. No,
yeah, we're playing rock paper scissors.
You don't have to get naked. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? That's what you do when you play. Yeah, that's what you do when you play drinking rock paper scissors.
Yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to move into the OP and ED for this show.
Let's do that. I liked the OP. Definitely set the vibes for sure.
Yeah.
But it was a skippable one for me.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna push back on that. I actually probably watched the OP and ED of this show more than my usual, I would say, just because I vibed with the song a lot. So, like it kind of set the tone perfectly for the show.
I'm different on the OP and the ED. I love the ED, but I am very lukewarm on the OP.
The OP, the visuals are definitely not like, they're nothing special.
It's a very generic anime OP.
Visually, yeah, other than the fact that they're like on a boat and diving and stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like I just mean in terms of like visually,
characters
like,
doing
their thing in the show.
Yeah, it's definitely an OP that sets the tone. Like I said, like it definitely feels like summertime.
And I think
feels
like
a song that would play on the beach.
Yeah, the song really fits the
Yeah.
show, and I think that is really good.
It sounds kind of like a Pitbull song.
Kind of.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that.
The ED is like a whole other animal. I love the ED just for how like unorthodox it is. It's so strange.
That's what I love about it.
What was your initial reaction when it came on for the first time?
For the first time, I thought, okay, this is like the episode 1 ED. Like they'll have like a proper ED going forward.
Yeah.
They never did.
No, this is the ED. So
I loved it.
My first reaction was, no way this is the ED. And then it kept going, and I was like, this is amazing.
The ED far outshines the OP.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Far and away. I love this ED. It so perfectly encapsulates the show. It's like, such a, like, the song fits like the mood. It's just like such a good ED. I'd say.
It kind of captures the vibe of the whole show, where it's just a vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just go along for the ride, and it's just like fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would definitely say. Like if I was to sum up the show in one word, it would be fun. Like
yeah.
It's just having a good time with your friends, and
it's like you're in a frat house.
Yeah,
pretty much. What did you guys think of the alternate ED? I think it was like episode 8 or 9 or something, where it's just weed guy.
Yeah, where it's just Kohei.
Yeah,
Kohei. Yeah, I mean, I like the other ones more because it was like I could imagine them just going to
doing
a karaoke.
Yeah,
where he's by himself and just dancing. It was fine. I thought it was a good change. Like it was nice for them to like throw in a different one, but
I thought it was worse for sure.
It was definitely worse.
Yeah,
I agree with what you said. It was nice to see a change, but like I definitely zoned out during that one. Yeah.
What else? We've got sound. We could discuss
sound and voice acting. Yeah.
I like the voice acting in it. I thought the voice acting in it was really good. There's not much to discuss in terms of sound.
So the thought I had on the voice acting was like I feel like they had a lot of fun recording these lines.
Yeah. That's the thing with the show is like we've said a couple times already, like the fun really shone through and kind of saved this show. I would say.
Permeates.
Yeah.
With a show like this, you really want people who you could tell were having a good time recording it.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that stands out to you like for voice actors in this one? Because I don't know Japanese voice actors very well. That was the one thing that took me. Cole asked me the question that you always ask me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sub or dub?
Well, there is no dub, which I didn't know when I selected this one. Yeah. So I watched sub. It was still good though. But yeah, is there any famous voice actors that you guys can think of that you notice in this one?
I'm scrolling through. There are some names that I recognize, but definitely not famous ones. I would probably say a standout would be Chisa, only because she was such a different character compared to everybody else. She was much more quiet and just rage filled.
She definitely had a good dynamic with the rest of the cast as well. I like this. This isn't really like a voice acting perspective, just like a character perspective.
From characters, yeah.
But she did a good job of like playing that character, I think.
I feel like this show needed that character too.
Oh yeah,
of having like someone who's like not having. They're kind of enjoying it against their will, if that makes sense, but also clearly not enjoying it.
Just a pure tsundere.
Yeah. Like I feel like if there would definitely be someone in the frat house / diving club that would be like that. Where they're like, I don't agree with these guys getting naked all the time. It's annoying. Why are they always drunk?
Yeah. But here I am.
Here I am, still here because I like diving.
Here I am, ready to suffer.
Yeah. Just like me.
Just like all of us.
Yeah. But I mean, like, my reaction to the voice actors was kind of like just all encompassing. I think they just had a great time in the booth recording this thing.
For sure.
Because like it was just like so much slapstick humor, a lot of yelling, which I know Mike doesn't like, but like
you said that for this.
I think there's a time and place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When Jay said that in our prediction of each other's thoughts for this one, I actually I'd never dawned on me that there's a lot of yelling in this show because it just kind of fits better. Whereas I don't like when you're drunk and you're having like a crazy wild party like these guys are, everyone is yelling. Yeah. And I don't know why it didn't bother me for this one. Maybe because they're grown men. Maybe that's part of it.
That's another thing that I wanted to talk about is like this, there aren't a lot of anime that cover university and like that college life. And like, I really appreciated the fact that this anime covers that because like, it's a very, very distinct point in a person's life that isn't normally covered. And
I took a note while I was watching it that said specifically, this is the most accurate depiction of college life on screen.
Yes. Yeah. No, honestly, like especially for anime too, the only thing that I guess I'm not going to go into it too much, but like the way that they the friends handled the relationships with each other and stuff like that, and like getting jealous over like guys getting girlfriends and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought that was kind of like
that felt a little.
That was a bit much, and I also felt like really bad for the guy in that one episode.
Yeah, we'll save that for the spoily talk. One of us please remember to bring that up again.
Yeah. But in terms of like just that, you're looking for like the next party, right? Like, where are we drinking?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, because
I'm not going to drink tonight, but then you end up getting dragged into to drinking.
And at the same time, like, with all the fan service, like, it's not like you're looking at all these people and then you have to remember, oh yeah, they're high schoolers, right? Like,
right.
Like, it's like, oh, they're adults. Like, it's not weird that you're
doing this stuff, right?
Doing this stuff with the people, right? Like, they're of age.
I feel like a lot of the time too, like anime will have the characters be high schoolers, like 16 or 17. And then like they'll just say, oh yeah, they're 17. And then other than that, they just act like an adult for the entire show.
Yeah, like Tokyo Revengers
like,
is really good at that. Is really prominent for that.
Like 13 in that show.
Yeah. I feel like often you'll watch an anime with kids who are 13, 14, 15, and they're all acting super mature, whereas this is the complete opposite.
Yeah.
We've got adults who are acting like absolute
children.
Maniacs.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I would just say that they're accurate.
Yeah, they're just acting like a normal 18-year-old who just got into university/college would be. They're just like
wild.
Yeah, they at first they're trying to do their school and stuff, and then like they get
swept up by the moment and just
Which is kind of like, again, like it's kind of the point of the show. It's just kind of like, yes, there are important things you got to do, but like sometimes you just got to have fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes the fun does supersede everything. Yeah. And you just got to get naked and drunk.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my clothes on. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, let's all keep our clothes on.
Yeah.
You know what Shazana said to me when I said we were doing a drinking game in the...
Did you say, are you going to take
episode?
your clothes off?
She was like, are you guys going to take your clothes off? Are you going to play rock, paper, scissors?
No, absolutely not.
Never nude. Cole's a never nude.
Never nude.
You did say with the sound though, there really is not much to talk about with sound.
Not much in terms of sound. I mean, I feel like
was even.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done some stuff with like the underwater diving stuff, but I felt like it didn't really even have like cool regulator sounds and stuff like that. Like, you know, famously Darth Vader's breathing is a scuba regulator. And they didn't really have any of that. There was cool stuff about like how different diving techniques and
little tips that they give,
hand signals and stuff like that. Stuff I'll never use in my life because the water here is too dirty to be able to see underwater anyway.
Yeah, very muddy.
But it was interesting to.
I thought those were some of the best parts of the show. Actually, is like, when they like. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Oh, just when they took the time to kind of like stop the zaniness for a second, give you a breather and just kind of be like, oh yeah, by the way, like that review said, this show is about diving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, like, and a lot of the serious moments are about diving. Like, I guess I shouldn't get into that and wait for spoilers, but
I'll try and tiptoe around this as best as I can, but like, part of it is when it comes to diving, they focus on like safety and stuff like that. Yeah. So when it gets serious, they talk about don't feel like you have to put your safety at risk. You know, that's an important message that the show is trying to
like
convey.
One of the main plot lines of the story is the newbies are getting their diving license.
Yeah.
And like so they're all learning the safety protocols for diving. That's essentially where the story is for.
Well, they're learning how to dive, right? Like
eventually,
maybe
you're
eventually.
If you're going, I will say, if you're going in for specifically that, you're not gonna have a good time.
To learn about diving,
you're not gonna have a good time.
To be disappointed.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. When I suggested this one and when I picked it for us to watch, I thought the show was a lot more about diving with like some partying.
Yeah,
it was the exact opposite. It was about partying with some diving.
It's a little sprinkling of diving. Yeah, I would.
We're kind of going into spoiler-free thoughts at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with Jay there. It's definitely not what I thought it would be, and I think it's better for that.
Don't get me wrong. I knew exactly what the show was going to be.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, first of all, I read the manga before Mike even suggested this for review, so I knew what we were in for. But I'm just saying, like, for people who were expecting that kind of thing, you're going to be disappointed. This is a comedy and like a slapstick comedy through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you guys recommend this to now that we're in our spoiler-free thoughts and recommending thing? I would definitely say if you enjoy like the zany like slapstick comedy of like the early 2000s, this is definitely for you.
Yeah.
Like if you love American Pie and you've watched those movies a bunch, like you're loving this show because it's kind of the same thing, sort of.
Yeah.
If you're in college, probably.
Konosuba, obviously, I would say. Nichijou, I guess, kind of. Just in the sense that it's like kind of slapsticky. This is definitely much more mature than something like Nichijou is. But I feel like the comedy is kind of similar. Jay, what do you think?
I think if you're, I mean, this is kind of echoing the both of you, but if you're a fan of like any kind of like comedy, whether it be Gintama or Konosuba, or something like that, this is definitely the thing for you. Or like if you're looking for like, kind of like a light-hearted depiction of college life, I'd say check it out.
Yeah, I think the other thing you got to point out is like if you're not into watching, if you like hate drinking or something and you don't want to watch people drink the entire show, like be aware this show is
or like if
about
you're
drinking
or
first
like
and
if you don't
foremost.
like nudity, I'd say like don't watch this show.
Yeah, I mean, there's not like any like straight up nudity. You don't.
Well,
see
I mean,
any
like it's all
private
censored.
parts.
It's censored, but I mean, like it's still like they depict like
it's
a
not
naked.
one to watch in the living room.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
I will say,
as a person who watched this show in the living room, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I will say that I was surprised to turn the show on and immediately be greeted with a warning about
what did the warning say? Because I watched it not on Amazon. So what would the warning say?
The warning just said underage drinking is strictly prohibited. All of the characters in the show are of drinking age.
Yeah. And also like I think it was something about like don't force people to drink.
Yeah, I feel like that's we could talk about that in the plot, but that's probably one of the biggest downsides of this show. Is there's some problematic elements here. I do think you have to be okay with like a bit of fan service, both male and female, for this show.
Yeah.
If it makes you uncomfortable, it's definitely the whole point of this show is that it is kind of uncomfortable, and he kind of learns to deal with it. So maybe it could be good for you. Maybe it'd be horrible. I don't know.
Iori's kind of the like quintessential example of, well, if you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah. It's true.
It doesn't
really
take
is.
much convincing though for him to join them, but I know.
But like in the beginning, he's I
liked it.
I liked it.
Thought I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I thought it's definitely when I put out a poll recently when Jay's reel about Konosuba being the funniest anime came out, people started commenting what they thought their funniest anime was, and lots of people said Grand Blue, and I would definitely agree with that. It's definitely
up there. Yeah,
it's up there. I don't know if it's the funniest, but it's definitely in top tier.
It's probably made me laugh more than most other comedy anime out there.
Yeah,
I think Konosuba makes me laugh more for the writing. This one probably makes me laugh more for the just ridiculous
scenarios.
It's
scenarios and like reactions.
Yeah,
it's kind of cheaper jokes than Konosuba, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.